Hello everyone, my name is Yan Yikang. We are from Group 7. Today I will show you the multiple arts education organizations' response to policies, resource and organizational development analysis, where educational organizations such as high schools, universities and training centers are integrated to the social and economic development of nations. They play a pivotal role in implementing government policies, achieving national education goals, and responding to global trends. I will delve deeper into human resource, financial resource, and infrastructure and facilities components with detailed examples from Malaysia and China to illustrate their application in resource and organizational developments. Well, for the next part is human resource. Once we mention human resource, people will be familiar with the definition of human resources encompass all personnel involved in educational organizations, including administrators, educators, and support staff, and external consortium. HR management is essential for implementing a policy effectively. Ensure that the right individuals are placed to deliver quality education and support operations. Importance in policy response. Educational policies often set benchmarks for teacher qualifications, professional development, and step to student ratings. Policies such as curriculum reform, inclusive education, or digital transformation necessitate skills personnel capable for adapting to changes. HR role includes curriculum, training, performance management, and succession planning. Core methods of qualification and skill assessment in human resource. Qualification review. Organizations first review whether the basic qualifications of employees meet policy requirements. This usually includes teachers' academic qualifications, professional certifications, and teaching experience. For example, in China, many policies require teachers to hold a teacher qualification certificate and have a professional background related to the courses they teach. When introducing new vocational education courses, relevant teachers need to prove that they have participate experience and industry qualifications. In Malaysia, the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025 promotes STEM education reforms by requiring science and mathematics teachers to have professional certifications in specific fields, relevant continuous professional developments. Skill tours can be carried out through the following methods: self-assessment questionnaires and classroom observations, and exit tests and assessments. For the role analysis part, by analyzing the match between employees' job responsibilities and policy needs, organizations can be optimize team structures. Further poetry training targets are be determined. Training poetries are determined based on the following factors: curriculum relevance, student coverage, safety of skills gap. Let's move to the financial resources. Financial resources refer the finding mechanism that sustain the operation of educational organizations. They include government budgets, private investments, and alternative funding sources like grants or donations. Importance of policy response. Financial considerations can hinder the implementation of ambitious education reforms. Adequate and sustainable funding ensures that policies such as free education, technological integration, or inclusive education are successful implemented. Organizational development implementations, public-private partnerships to supplement government's fundings. Malaysia encourages PPPs. For example, the One Best Star Net project participates with a private firm to prove high-speed internet to schools nationwide. In China, private companies often invest in vocational training institutions to earn educational programs with industry needs. For instance, Huawei collaborations with technical colleges to integrate ICT training into curricula. Cost efficiency. Malaysia. Efficiency used to forms critical in Malaysia, where initiatives like centralized procurement for education supplies help reduce costs. China's use for technology in education management, such as e-payment system for school fees, minimize administrative costs. For the infrastructure and facilities, infrastructure and facilities refer to the physical and technical resources essential for delivering education. This includes school buildings, libraries, laboratories, sports facilities, and digital platforms. Importance is in the policy response. Policy drive goals such as bringing the digital drive and increasing STEM enrollment or achieving university education require investment in infrastructure and to ensure safe, accessible, and conducive learning environments. Facility planning and upgrades. Under the Rural Education Transformation Initiative, the government upgraded facilities in rural areas, building classrooms with internet access and solar power electricity. And move to China, the Project Hope innovative focus on constructing schools in underdeveloped rural areas, significantly improve access to the education for millions of children. Technical integration. For Malaysia, the Digital Education Strategy 2021 to 2025 mandates integrating technology into classroom. This has led to the institution for smart boards and high-speed internet in urban and rural schools alike. For China's adoption of AI education is transforming classrooms. For instance, AI-driven learning platforms are used to tailor lessons based on students' individual learning needs. Draw conclusion, human resources, financial resources, and infrastructure are interdependent peers in education organizations, playing a critical role in implementing policies. With example from Malaysia and China, it's evident that territorial strategies in these areas enable organizers to align with national and global education goals by addressing challenges like resources constraints, skills gap, and inequity. Education system can foster a robust and equitable learning environment for future generations. Well, here is all my part. Let's move to next presenter.
Hello, Doctor. Hello, everyone. I'm Shaofeng Zhang, and today I will be talking about expertise mapping in educational organizations and why it's so important for successfully implementing policies. In any school system, having the right expertise is important to make sure that educational policies are effective. For this talk, I will focus on two key areas: pedagogical expertise, which is all about teaching practices and understanding how students learn, and policy analysis expertise, which helps educators interpret and apply policies in a way that makes sense in real classrooms. Let's start with pedagogical expertise. This refers to the knowledge and skills required by teachers in curriculum development, instructional strategies, and assessment. There are key areas to meet the requirements of any new policy. First, curriculum development is about designing curriculum and instructional materials that development is about designing curriculum and instructional materials that are aligned with policy goals. Teachers need to ensure that what they are teaching is consistent with what the policy achieves for students. For example, if a policy promotes critical thinking, teachers need to adapt their curriculum to develop these skills. Secondly, instructional strategies are about how teachers teach. If a policy calls for a more student-centered approach, such as encouraging collaboration or problem solving, teachers must adjust their teaching methods. Finally, the focus of assessment and evaluation is to measure students' progress. Teachers need to assess students in a way that reflects policy goals, such as digital literacy if the policy highlights technological skills. So, how do we plan teaching expertise? The progress is to identify where the teacher is doing well and where additional support may be needed. We use a few tools for this. Teacher evaluation helps us to understand the performance of teachers. This can include classroom observations and assessments that give us an idea of their strengths and areas for improvement. Self-assessment allows teachers to reflect on their own practice and identify areas where they feel confident or where they want to grow. Peer observation is another important tool. Instructors observe each other's lesson and provide feedback, which helps collaboration and sharing of best practices. Once we have a clear understanding of faculty strengths and weaknesses, we can implement professional development programs, workshops, and training sessions to support areas where faculty may need further development. Next, let's now turn to policy analysis, expertise, and explore why it's so important to ensure that policy actually works in schools. The first part of policy analysis is to explain the policy impact. When a new policy is introduced, it's not always observed what it means for the school system. Policy experts have analyzed what needs to be changed, whether it is the curriculum, teaching method, or the whole school structure. For example, a policy dedicated to improving digital literacy would require teachers to change the way they use technology in the classroom. Next, we want to identify challenges and opportunities. Each policy has its challenges, such as lack of funding, resistance to change, or unclear implementation guidelines. However, there are also opportunities such as new training programs or more ways to attract students. Policy experts help schools identify potential barriers and positive opportunities arising from policy changes. Now let's talk about how to plan policy analysis expertise. Its progress is to ensure that those responsible for interpreting the policy have the right skills. First, we need to evaluate managers and policy advisors. This includes examining their experience in policy analysis. Are they experts in understanding the impact of the policy? How do they interpret and enforce policies? By assessing their expertise, we can identify any knowledge gaps and areas where additional training may be required. We then developed strategies to address the challenges of the policy implementation. For example, if training on a new policy is missing, we need to plan ahead and address the challenge before it causes delays or confusion. Finally, we evaluate the policy review progress. Schools and school districts often have a way to review policies to ensure that they are implemented correctly. We need to examine how these progresses work and see if they can be improved to better support the goals of the policy. Why is policy analysis expertise so important? It transforms big policy ideas into feasible steps that can be applied in schools. First, policy analysis help break down broad and complex policy goals into special actions that schools can take. For example, a policy of using more technology in the classroom is not helpful unless there are unclear guidelines on what tools to use and how to integrate them into the curriculum. Next, the policy analysis brings all the key stakeholders together. Effective policy implementation requires cooperation between governments, departments, school leaderships, teachers, and parents. Communication is key, and policy analysis ensures that everyone is aligned in the goals and rules. Finally, policy analysis help to predict challenges before they arise. Policy experts are trained to spot potential obstacles such as lack of funding or training and progress solutions ahead of time to ensure the progress runs smoothly. To summarize, here are key takeaways from expertise mapping. Pedagogical expertise ensures the teachers have the appropriate skills to adapt teaching practices to policy objectives and use new tools in the classroom. Policy analysis expertise helps schools break down complex policies into clear and ensure that policies are implemented effectively. The expertise map identify areas there may be skills and knowledge gaps, and schools to address their weakness through target professional development. Finally, the expertise map helps schools adapt to policy changes and improve overall performance. It ensures both teachers and administrators have the ability to effectively implement the process and create an optional learning environment for students. That's all. Thank you. Next part.
Hello everyone, hello doctor, my name is Han Xinchun. Today, I will be discussing the pivotal role that educational organizations play in the implementation of educational policies, the challenges they face, and the strategic importance of organizational development and success in enhancing the effectiveness of this public. Okay. The educational organizations are those involved in educational activities, learning resources, and teaching management, including schools, universities, professional training centers, and governmental and non-governmental education departments. These organizations, which may be public or private, aim to provide formal academic education or professional skills training to meet the needs of social and personal development. Educational organizations play a vital role in contemporary society. First, they are the main venues for knowledge transfer and skill training, which is the essential for developing people with the necessary competencies and expertise. Through a systematic education system, educational organizations not only help individuals achieve their career goals, but also promote social economic development and innovation. In addition, educational organizations are important vessels for the transmission of social values and culture through educational activities that spread social norms, promote cultural diversity, and foster civic awareness. Therefore, educational organizations are not only places for learning knowledge, but also cornerstones for shaping the future of society through efficiency and imperative education practices. These organizations have ability to address social inequalities and promote inclusion and progress across society. Next, educational organizations play several key roles in policy implementation as follows. The first one is implementation subject. Educational organizations is the frontline sector of educational policy implementation. They are responsible for the implementation of national or local education policies into specific teaching activities, covering curriculum, teaching methods improvement, students evaluation systems, and teacher professional development. These institutions ensure that each policy can be tailored and implemented to the specific needs of students to maximize its education effectiveness. The second one is source of feedback. In the process of policy implementation, educational organizations also play the role in information feedback. They assess the effectiveness and challenges of specific policies by collecting data on educational practice and direct feedback from teachers and students. The feedback received in the field is crucial for policymakers to adjust and optimize strategies, helping them better adapt to the actual needs of education. The third one is innovation testing ground. Educational organizations often becoming testing grounds for new educational policies and ideas. Before promoting a new policy, the government or regulatory body will usually pilot it in select educational institutions to assess regulatory the implementation effect and the practical flexibility of the policy. Such pilot projects can not only show the potential of new policies, but also reveal the problems that need to be solved during implementation. The next one is community and family. Educational organizations also play a role in connecting communities and families in the process of communicating and implementing policy by organizing parent meetings, community events, and working with local groups. They help policy information and increase public understanding and support of educational policies. At the same time, this interaction also enhances the influence and acceptance of education policies in society. The last one is promote equity and inclusion in education. By implementing policies aimed at promoting equal opportunities in education, educational organizations contribute to reducing educational disparities among different groups. This includes tailored support for the student with diverse backgrounds and needs, such as special education resources and culturally adapted courses. The implementation of these policies help create an equitable and inclusive educational environment that ensures every student has the opportunity to succeed. The next part is background and importance of organizational development analysis. The first one is background of organizational development analysis. Organizational development analysis refers to process of systematically evaluating and improving elements of an education organization, such as structure, culture, process, resource allocation, and capacity building, in order to optimize policy implementation and improve organizational effectiveness. With the change of the global educational environment and the continuous advancement of education policies and reforms, educational organizations are faced with many challenges in the process of implementing policies. These challenges include the first one is mismatch between policy objectives and organizational culture. The next one is structure and process complexity. The last one is inadequate capacity building. Then the next part is necessity and importance of organizational development analysis. There are 6 points. The first is improve the efficiency and effectiveness of policy implementation. The next one is optimize resource allocation and improve policy implementation. The third one is promote cultural adaptation and change with the organization. The fourth one is strengthening capacity building and suitable development. The fourth one is support the long-term sustainability of policy objectives. The last one is adapt to the needs of globalization and internationalization of education. Then the next part is specific strategies for implementing implementing policies. The next one is assess the capacity of educational institutions. The second one is identify gaps in knowledge, skills, and resources. The third one is conduct target training programs and professional development activities. The last one is implement tracking and evaluation mechanisms. In this presentation, we will explore the importance of professional competence in educational organizations and analyze how enhancing these competence and optime policy implementation. We pay particular attention to strategies for organizing professional seminars and workshops and ways to enhance the professional skills for faculty and staff through continued education. The first one is the importance of professional competence in educational organizations. The next one is enhance professional competence through professional seminars and workshops. The next one is enhance the professional skills of faculty and staff through continued education. Now the next part is the implementation and importance of change management in educational institutions. Change management refers to the process of guiding and managing change in an organization with the aim of systematically implementing new methods, policies, or technologies to improve efficiency and achieve organizational goals. In educational institutions, effective change management not only helps to adapt to changes in educational policies, but also ensure that educational reforms are carried out smoothly to improve educational quality and student achievement. Then the next part is organizational development analysis is critical for educational institutions. The first one is ensuring alignment of educational policies with institution objectives. The next one is optimize resource allocation. The next one is identify and fill capacity gaps. The next part is mapping resources and expertise. The first one is conduct a comprehensive audit of resources. The next one is assess the degree of match between available resources and educational objectives and determine the efficiency and effectiveness of resource allocations. The last one is conduct comprehensive organizational development analysis. Here are 3 case studies. The first one is education policy and teacher professional development in Singapore. The next one is the educational system changes in Finland. The next one is educational technology integration in India. All 3 are examples of successful education organizations. Below is a short video on the development of
a series of short courses designed to highlight what you need to know about a particular human resource management topic. In today's HR Basics, we explore organizational development, what it is and its key concepts. Organizational development engages people to accomplish better organizational performance. It's a series of short courses designed to...
The next part is conclusion. Effective organizational development analysis not only helps educational organizations to better implement policies, but also is a key tool to improve the quality of education and achieve educational goals. Through comprehensive analysis, educational organizations can ensure that their structure and functions maximize support for the successful implementation of policies, thereby achieving the goal of improving overall educational outcomes. Educational organizations must continue to explore and implement these strategies to address changing educational needs and challenges. My presentation is finished. Thank you, Doctor.